Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me, except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Matt's come with me. No. When do we start?
It's another evening in New England, and you know what that means.
Sweaty, sweltering.
Time to sweat it out, because
Nice.
it's humid.
I have some personal questions I'd like to ask you to kick off the show today.
Sure. I mean, I had an anecdote, but sure. Let's...
Well, no, I'd like to... Well, then you can have your anecdote afterwards, but I want to ask you a couple of questions. Are you getting better with your fine motor skills? Are you interested in playing with other kids now?
I mean, not that one. The first one's kind of...
Can you run and walk without tripping over your own feet?
I mean, I wear flip-flops.
Can you draw a circle with a crayon, pencil, or marker?
Sometimes.
Can you name the 8 colors in a crayon box?
There are only 8?
What
kind of cheap crayon box is that?
It's the basic one. You're not going to have... Well, basically what I'm getting to is these are things that a 3-year-old can do, and now that the store is officially 3 years old, I'm kind of listing something like
yeah, that's right.
red, yellow, blue, green, orange, purple, brown, and black. You can't expect a 3-year-old to like chartreuse, gold, mauve, peach. Is mauve is a color? Is mauve a color, or is it mauve?
Either way, I think you're fine. Yeah, I forgot it. Yeah, the store turned 3. So I'm having a big sale. Come on down. It'll be the biggest this year, and also I'm probably not doing another one until like Small Business Saturday, Black Friday weekend.
It's mauve, by the way, mauve.
So if you want to get cheap stuff, I'm not doing it again for a while.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sale. 25-cent comics for $1. $1 or 25 cents.
That's been beautiful. People have been, because I'm mostly doing that one just to make space, and people have been hauling stuff out. Like if you spend like $30 or $10, like you're still walking away with like stacks of stuff, and it's good for me because I just want it gone.
What was it? 30% off everything in the store except for new releases as well. So
I have an anecdote.
Yeah.
I guess I'll ask, how are you?
I am well.
All right.
I am. Football has started. New job training has started. So it's been a crazy week, a tiring week, and it's only Tuesday night. But here I am, still standing. Well, sitting at the moment, but still upright.
So over the weekend, I'm at the store, as I am.
What else do you do on the weekend?
Well, I work the first day, and then I have to catch up with all the housework on the next day, and then I never do anything.
Yeah.
That's kind of how...
No life.
Yeah. Oh, I have a life. It's just cramped.
Drab.
Yeah. But I'm at the store, and, you know, people come in and out as they do throughout the day. And this one couple comes in, and the guy's friendly, he's chatting with me and all that, asking me some questions.
Oh, is this where you sent me the illicit text message?
I mean, I'm going to get into what I think I texted you what happened. I don't think
You did text me what happened, but before that, you had texted me some things that were inappropriate.
No, I'm not going to tell that story.
Okay.
You said you didn't trust anything I had to say, so I just said...
No, it's not that I said, it wasn't I didn't trust. I said, I'm very unfazed by anything you have to say at this point.
Yeah. And then I said some stuff.
You did say some stuff, and I said yawn in return.
But this guy's talking to me, and, you know, he's like, you know, you get a lot of questions like, oh, what are the big sellers? And, you know, big sellers are the big sellers. You're not going to be shocked by them. Like Spider-Man, Batman, Walking Dead, that kind of stuff. Like, I don't have some secret underground book that's just like rocking the sales charts. But he starts asking me like, hey, you know, how's the thing with the whole Batman wedding issue? Spoilers, because, you know, the New York Times already spoiled it, but the wedding doesn't happen. Like, oh, it's fine that, you know, the issue sold better than others. Just like, so how are the issues after that doing? You know, not as good as the anniversary issue, the number 50, but they're doing pretty well. It's like, oh, how are they doing to, you know, about 10 issues ago? And like, you know, numbers are roughly the same. Nothing really changed. Like, no one seemed to be that upset by it because, you know, Batman can't be happy.
These are very specific questions, too.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm auditing you. I'm here to show me your books.
It eventually goes, oh, hey, I'm Lee. And that's when it clicks in my brain. And I'm sure it probably clicked in someone else's, too. But yeah, you know, sales are still doing, like, really strong with that book, whatever. Like, no one's that upset. And eventually he just goes, I drew those, you know? It's like, oh, yeah, no, I got there. All in my...
Yeah. I understand who
What's
you
funny,
are now.
If he hadn't said his first name, I wouldn't have put 2 and 2 together. But once he said the name, I'm like, oh, very specific questions.
Did you get him to sign anything when he was in the store?
No, we chatted for, like, hour and a half, somewhere in that area. But I didn't want to be that guy who was like, hey, if you're here, can you just do things for me?
Yeah, I could. Do me a service, sir.
Yeah, no, he was very friendly. We had a nice long chat. He offered, and so, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, kids. He's like, oh, hey, I should do a signing here, you know, in the future. It's kind of like a main thing, because I've mentioned this before on the show, he's a local guy. He went to school right in town where the shop is, you know, from the area. So I'm like, yes, of course, that'd like be awesome. Like, you know, maybe wait till the construction's done, because, you know, it's my 3 years, like right now. The reason I'm not doing a signing this year is because I'm just afraid of numbers. Who's going to be able to park and get it in here easily and all that. But yeah, so, you know, fingers crossed, kids, for the future.
You could do something in November, maybe.
Yeah, no, we had a good talk. It was nice. It was surprising because, you know, you don't usually get, because this guy has been working like at least since the 80s. Like, he's big time.
Wow.
I mean, he's drawing Batman. That's like the biggest of times.
The best of times.
Yeah, but no, it was cool.
Oh, that's cool. Little brush with celebrity.
And it's funny seeing people come in and out of the store and buying stuff. And like, comics pros for the most part kind of get to live that dual life of celebrity in some spots, but then like they can just go about their day-to-day stuff. And, most people I wouldn't like recognize on the fly.
Well, I mean, they're not really the visual part of the visual medium. So that makes sense.
So it was interesting just seeing people kind of come in and out. And he'd be like, I'll let you get up there. Like, excuse me and all that. Very polite.
Did he buy anything?
No.
Oh, well, just stopping in.
Yeah.
Doing a little reconnaissance.
Yeah, he was asking where the tattoo parlor went that used to be my shop, and he knew him apparently well enough to be like he knew his first name right off the bat. So yeah.
Wow. Was he disappointed that he couldn't get a tattoo with you?
No.
Did you at least offer like I could give you like some sort of rogue tattoo?
I don't want that.
No, you don't want that. You don't want to bring that evil upon you.
No.
Given your recent run of luck,
let's get matching tattoos. We just met.
Best BFF tattoos. It's like right on the ring finger.
But yeah, that was kind of a cool thing. And the bummer was no one happened to come in to get a book that he'd worked on when he was in there. So I might have taken advantage of that, but it didn't happen in like the hour that he was there. So
Did anyone come in while he was there?
Yeah, people were in and out of the store when he was there. But
that's excellent. What's the construction junction? What's your function update?
If you want to do that,
it's been a while.
Sure, we can do that. We'll play that theme now.
Can you dig it?
What's the state of the construction update?
See you later, new Doug.
I'm glad it's on the other side, but man, I'm getting real sick of vibrating all day.
And that's your construction update.
Well, because it's right across the street right now, and it's just you got.
Well, I drove through there on Monday, and there was water everywhere. Did they like hit a water line or something? Like
no, they spray it down a couple times a day.
Oh, because it was like supremely wet.
Yeah, no, they have a truck that goes down there at least twice a day, usually in the beginning and at the end.
I feel like they're making reasonable progress right away.
Yeah, they're moving. They're definitely moving. But yeah, when those steamrollers go by, like the whole building just shakes. Well, you just have to get used to the shaking.
Your building in the first place is not exactly like the most structurally sound.
I mean, I felt bad
thing
for
on the river.
The shop across from me, the tattoo shop. I'm like, how do you possibly keep a steady hand with this? And now, like, they're in front of a salon. I'm like, how do there's going to be some choppy haircuts?
Yeah, construction sales.
Yeah, but yeah, that's it. I mean, parking is still easy on my side of the street, which is nice. But
I thought you said this haircut was half off. This is 3/4 of my hair is gone.
I'll be glad when it's done.
I'm you and most everybody else. Did you get hit with the Hollowell counterfeiter, by the way? Did you see that story?
I saw it, but I didn't.
Did you see how poor that $100 bill mock-up was?
Well, I know for me, if you want to counterfeit me a 20 or below, I don't usually check. But whenever I get 50s and 100s, I double check. That's just, retail 101.
Yeah.
And I don't have one of those little pens. I just hold them up to the light, make sure they have those like weird potato faces in them that don't really look like people.
This had that. It was just they had like the watermark and everything. You got to have the pen. You got to invest in the pen.
Because it's in the middle. You can't get that middle watermark and the little shiny
thing. The little strip?
Yeah, and this one also said like copy only for set use only.
Oh, well.
Like it was a movie prop.
Yes.
But no.
Somebody tried to push it on somebody, though.
He did not strike me, thankfully. I guess from there, we can go into the news.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
Oh, the internet was aghast with the Academy this week.
Buzzing.
Because the Oscars have added a new category, which everyone said, that's stupid.
What is that?
Because Oscars just continually go down with ratings every single year. Probably doesn't help that they added like 10 movies to every category. They've added a new category to, capture the youth, or to, backhand and compliment. There's now going to be a Best Popular Film category.
Best Popular Film?
Yeah. So, movies that people actually see.
Oh, so like a movie like The Avengers could win an Oscar.
Yeah. That's kind of why I'm against it, because I feel like they're all films.
And then you're like subjecting yourself like what's
like, oh, these are the idiot movies.
I feel there's like a subjectivity to like popular.
And I mean, yeah, there's only been a few instances of, kind of genre movies winning things, like, I mean, Return of the King being the biggie, but it can be done. You can get a like Best Supporting Actor with like Heath Ledger and stuff like that. I feel like this is just like kicking all that stuff to the side to be like, you can have your little thing, but real film and real art will remain over here.
You got plenty of other places to win awards like that. I always feel like the Oscars have like, and this is no disrespect to those movies that usually don't get nominated or win, kind of a level of prestige to them and like that classic cinema. And, a lot of people feel like, Return of the King got the 11 Oscars kind of as like it was a culmination of the effort of the 3 films. I mean, they shot them all at the same time over the course of year and a half, and the editing and everything that went into it was kind of like a big. This is a lot of those. I mean, did it win anything for the actual acting? I can't remember.
No, because none of them. They didn't have enough screen. You need to have a certain amount of screen time to get nominated for those, and none of them hit the benchmarks because it's such a big cast.
But it was all really rewarded.
Why do I remember that?
Because you're a reasonably smart individual. The thing about that is it was really recording a change in the way movies were made. It was rewarding a change in technology. And it won all these technical awards because it was technically, the technology in the movie was wonderful. You think about the Battle of Pelennor Fields and the massive armies that they were able to piece together. Although there was some weaker CG stuff in some of the deleted scenes that weren't as refined. But in general, I mean, yeah, I think I disagree with a most popular film award.
Yeah, I feel like that's just the Academy looking down their nose at things that work with an audience.
Yeah, not only that, but it's
like last year, like Logan was up for Best Adapted Screenplay. I think that had all the reason in the world to win. It didn't, but I mean, that was shoulder to shoulder with anything else.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know if I would necessarily match up a movie like Avengers Infinity War against 3 billboards outside of what was it, Memphis or whatever, or those other kind of films that are in that category. But then you have films like Interstellar that do well there. You don't like the movie Interstellar?
No.
Why not? Because it requires a little bit of a higher level thinking.
No, it doesn't. It wants you to pretend that. Oh yeah, the whole power of love crap.
But the tesseract that they engage with, the time dilation, that's all real.
Yeah, that stuff is. Just because it has real science doesn't mean it mixes with their pseudoscience, which was just... You know what? I don't remember a single line of dialogue from that movie, but I sure remember the daughter's name, because boy, did McConaughey say it 70,000 times. Murph! Murph!
I don't think he said it like that.
Oh, he said it every way possible. If you have to say the same word that many times, you got to switch it up.
But could you imagine being gone for an hour or 2 hours and all of a sudden 20 some odd years have passed around you? The relativity of that just was mind numbing.
But yeah, this is a stupid thing. It's a snub while trying to boost their own ratings. No one cares. And also now they're doing all the technical awards during commercial breaks. So if, you worked for 2 years on something, congratulations, you've been relegated to a commercial break.
Kind of like these awards were handed out earlier session, like when you get an Oscar, but it's not really at the Oscars.
Yeah, but that's a stupid thing. Where do you want to go? Movies, comics?
Must be a slow news week that's the lead story.
It was just the first thing I wrote down.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh no, there's a ton of comics news.
Well, let's hit some of that comics news.
Also, all right, comics news, because there's a bunch of it. I guess first and foremost, and there's a new theme for this now. I don't think we've used it yet. For our top 10 comics of the month.
The top 10 comics of the month.
We thought it best to break it to you slowly.
Number 10. It's not.
You don't want that now, okay.
You can do what you want. Cosmic Ghost Rider number 1, spinning out of the Thanos series, kind of sequelizing it a bit. But yeah, it's an insane Frank Castle who rides around on a space motorcycle with the power cosmic, and he captures an evil baby.
Oh.
It was a good time. Look, it was Thanos. He captured baby Thanos, went back in time, and now things are just going insane. It's a fun book. Are you not counting down?
Oh, sorry. Number 9. I was waiting to...
Is that your contribution?
Yeah. Number 9.
X-23 number 1, the relaunch series from All New, All Different Wolverine. We're still dealing with Laura and Gabby, and some old weird connections to Grant Morrison's new X-Men run. If you don't know that 40-issue run, this one might be a little lost on you.
Number 7.
8.
Batman
51. Sad Batman because he was left at the altar, but still in the top 10.
Number 7.
Amazing Spider-Man number 2. No, not a crappy movie. And no, not that one that we reviewed a billion years ago about the Vulture, but the new relaunch series, which is kind of going back to an old Spider-Man status quo.
Number 6.
Catwoman number 1, written and drawn by Joelle Jones, who previously done Batman. Really kicks ass. Also follows up on that whole, sad, lonely Batman.
Number 5.
Superman number 1, kicking off one of Bendis' Superman books.
Gabbing about Bendis.
Oh, we'll get there.
Oh, we have Bendis news this week?
I forgot it last week.
You son of a bitch. Number 4.
Doomsday Clock number 6, the Watchmen sequel still chugging along. To be honest, I kind of forgot what happened in this one. I read it like a month ago.
Oh. Are you finding it enjoyable, though?
Yeah.
Is it matching up to your well-held opinion of The Watchmen?
It's not going in the direction I thought it was going to go to. It was kind of pitched as get ready to see Superman and Dr. Manhattan slug it out, but haven't seen much of that yet, or any.
Are we on number 4 or number 3? Number 4.
That was 4.
Number 3.
Captain America #1. Ta-Nehisi Coates, previous Black Panther writer, moves over. Boy, the last Captain America run sucked. I'm so glad someone new was at the helm. It was good.
Was it the Captain America Hydra run?
No, I was fine with that. No, there was 6 issues that Mark Waid did. Mark Waid is a great writer, but they definitely just said, we need someone to just fill in the gap here. We need a placeholder arc. Hey, you want to do something for some easy money? And he went, yeah, I'll half-ass it.
And that's what you got.
Yeah.
Number 3 book. Number 2.
Amazing Spider-Man #1. Kind of already said my stuff about Amazing Spider-Man. I like where the series is going, kind of going more to number 3. It's, getting into that whole with great power comes great responsibility thing, but kind of breaking it up and, yeah.
And number 1.
To no one's surprise, and as previously mentioned with my conversation with Lee Weeks, Batman 50 did 440,000 copies. That is a big-ass book.
That's a lot of numbers.
Yeah. This month there were 8 books over the $100,000 mark, which is good. Most months released recently, we've been only seeing like 1, maybe 2. But having 8 that high is great. Usually I'm negative on this part, but I'm going to be happy.
We have an uptick on the numbers
nice.
compared to last year?
Compared to last year, dollar sales were up 20%. I think
wow.
A lot of that has to do with Batman 50. Batman's usually $3.99. I think it was $5.99.
Oh, so a higher price point.
So when you're dealing with 440,000, yeah. So dollar sales
That's a lot
were
of
up
money.
20%, and units sold was up 11%. But yeah,
wow.
I mean, there's a bunch of big launches this month. We rattled off a bunch of number ones in there, like big number ones. So I'm not surprised, but it's nice seeing a positive trend.
Yeah, especially in the dog days of summer.
I guess from there we could go to Bendis, find out what's up with him.
Gabbing about Bendis.
What is Bendis up to now?
We're gabbing about Bendis. It's this week's news about Brian Michael Bendis.
Bendis.
Aside from liking a tweet of mine that wasn't directed at it, it was like, oh, I'll get that sucker some traction.
Yeah, but usually when he likes a tweet of yours, you end up losing like all control of your phone.
That's what's going on right now from a different tweet from earlier. I've had a very big Twitter week.
Oh, good. Well, see, something good is happening.
Oh, good.
A little positivity for you.
Superman #2 was out, last week? And some people
we'll
got
go with that.
confused about something that happened in it. Superman is talking to the Flash at the end, refers to him as Barry, but then he takes off his mask to reveal a red-headed Flash, which is the hair color that Wally has. So a lot of people are like, is this Wally West? Like, what's going on? So we put out a thing on Twitter. He's like, guys, I really can't answer that question until after Doomsday Clock is done, which I think was he's like, or it was just a coloring error.
I'm thinking there's a little something to it.
I think it was just a coloring error. I think someone who was ever doing the coloring was just like, oh, Flash. I remember when he had red hair and that's all my guess. But yeah, so if you were concerned about who's the Flash, still Barry. Just a coloring error, probably. Or maybe something happens in Doomsday Clock.
Ooh, foreshadowing, perhaps?
Oh, and he has a new series out tomorrow. I haven't read it yet. I still got a short list left to read.
Oh.
Or by the time you hear this, it's already out, and I may or may not have read it.
Well, let's hope you have a chance to.
Yeah. Usually when I'm doing the sound processing on these, I can squeeze in a few.
Oh.
Because it takes like half an hour usually to do what I want to clean up the audio before I even start.
Like, condense down and enhance our voices?
I do like noise reduction, level out the bass and treble, and then there's another one that just...
So you're telling me to not talk so deep?
I mean, I'll even it out.
Oh, okay.
And then another one that just cuts out the silences, so I have to spend less time worrying about just like, oh, there was half a second of silence there that I want to trim down to like...
so it automatically finds long gaps of nothing and condense it. Oh, that's convenient.
So I mean, those take about half an hour.
That saves you some time.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. What else is happening in the world? Oh, Marvel 2-in-1 may or may not be getting a reboot. Marvel 2-in-1 is it went for 100 issues originally. It's the Thing teaming up with someone else, but it's been kind of Johnny Storm. But now that the Fantastic Four are back, something's going to happen after issue 12. Maybe it's getting canceled. Maybe it's going to keep going the way it is. Or maybe it's just going to be a retitled series. The writer Chip Zdarsky was like, oh, we had long talks about this. Why? Just go back to the format it was.
We've had discussions with people and things.
I mean, the old book was just the Thing would team up, usually with a lesser tier character to try and like boost sales on their book to get them more exposure. And
originally the Human Torch.
I can't remember if he was ever in the book. I mean, he was in it, definitely. I can't remember if they ever had a team up, though. Because he definitely did one with Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm. I'm not sure about Human Torch off the top of my head.
Didn't the Thing and Human Torch, though, spend some time together in some books?
In Strange Tales.
Oh, Strange, yeah.
But just go back to that format. Go back to the Thing teams up with the lower tier character. They go on a 1 or 2 issue adventure, and that's fine. That's something that Marvel doesn't have right now is the one-off stories. And while they don't necessarily blow sales away, I can usually sell a good chunk of them because people will come in who are just kind of, there's the daunting task of where do I pick things up? And my answer is like, wherever, it doesn't matter. there's usually like previously in, or everything's designed to be reader friendly, but sometimes people like just buying a one-off story so they can see if they're kind of like, do I want to get into comics or not? So I kind of wish there was a book out there right now that was doing it, because it's a nice, easy sale for newcomers. But yeah, so do that with Marvel 2-in-1. That's my opinion. Ooh, here's an exciting one.
I like excitement.
You're not going to care at all.
I can pretend to care.
Okay, I'll paint a word picture in your head. Remember when Michael Jordan came back to basketball?
Yes, I do. He was wearing the number 45.
Well, that might be happening in comics.
Michael Jordan?
Or at least, the equivalent for Marvel.
Wait, is Godzilla done his million layups?
Probably about this time.
Oh, okay, good for him.
But John Byrne is in talks to be returning to Marvel. He said it out loud. There are some photos taken at Fan Expo in Boston over the weekend of him shaking hands and speaking with editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski. John Byrne, best known for his one of the greatest runs of all time on Fantastic Four, and also being as writer and artist, and then also being one of the best artists on X-Men of all time with some of the biggest stories. Yeah, this is Michael Jordan coming back to the Bulls.
Wow.
But not Michael Jordan coming back to the Wizards. It's not that.
It's better, because when he came back to the Bulls, they won.
Yeah.
When he went to the Wizards, they didn't win as much.
No. Yeah, I think that's probably the most exciting news of the week.
Wow, top stories.
The Three Jokers story that is coming out, which is promised to be the answer to why there have been 3 Jokers supposedly in the DC universe, according to Metron's chair that has all the information in the world, one of the new gods.
Okay.
Batman sat in it. He's like, what's the Joker's identity? It's like, I can't tell you his identity because there's 3 of them. And Batman's like, what?
Son of a gun.
But that's finally being answered. Apparently it's going to be a 3-issue story with Jeff Johns writing it. And the stories will focus on Bruce, Barbara, and Jason, and kind of dealing with the worst and biggest things that he's done to all of them, or whichever one has done it. I guess we'll find out. And
so Barbara being paralyzed, Jason being dead, and
and Batman everything.
Yeah,
I guess watching them be dead and
paralyzed, and yeah.
It's going to be 3 prestige issues going under the DC Black Label line. Before they had said Black Label's all out of continuity. Now they're like, well, some of it's out of continuity, some of it's not, but it's going to be their more adult line. And Jeff Johns is great. And he started the story a couple years ago, so I'll be glad to see it wrapped up. Uncanny X-Men is back.
Baby.
Yeah, it is. It's been gone for almost 2 years, kind of the main X-Men line, but they're going to be kicking it off with a 10-part series titled X-Men Disassembled, starting in Uncanny #1. It's going to have 3 different writers, 3 different artists. Going to be a weekly series for 10 weeks, which will make people go, I don't want to buy a weekly series, which usually is what happens. But if you're a big enough X-Men fan...
Would that be the X-Men?
Well, Disassembled, for older Marvel fans, that might raise an eyebrow. Like, it's almost a threat. After dealing with like Avengers Disassembled.
Oh, really?
But they've described it as it may very well be the X-Men's final mission. You know what I say to that?
What?
No, it won't be. It's ridiculous. Of course not.
The X-Men are around forever.
Yeah, they make you money. So no. It won't be their final mission, but maybe they'll break up. In all honesty, X-Men, even
the Eagles went on a break.
There is one really stellar X-Men book out there right now, but for the most part, the line, I could use a little shaking up, so I'm not against this. Mix it up. I think that's it for comics news. So now it's either movies or TV. Keep in mind, I think I only have one thing about TV.
The TV.
All right.
Finish strong with the movies.
Runaways, that series that I haven't seen yet. I saw the first episode because they put it out, but beyond that, has been renewed for season 2, which will air on December 1st. And the only reason I brought it up is because I looked at like the promo photo that they put out. I'm like, where are they in the story? Also, someone tell me where they are in the story, because I was looking at that photo. I'm like, everyone seems to be alive.
Where are they, period?
Yeah, because it looked like they were doing at least the first arc, but everyone still seems to be there.
Are they all sitting around a table having a lot of exposition?
They were just standing in a line.
Kind of like being around a table for exposition.
So I'm just curious where they are in the story, because no one seems to be dead yet. And no, it's not a spoiler because it came out in 2002. I didn't clarify who either, but they're all still there.
There's still
there have been no
of time.
additions, yeah. So
or subtractions.
They usually do both. There was I remember there's a line of that book where one character is talking to another who's new in the book. He's like, so how often do you guys get replacement members? And it's just this little girl. And she goes, usually when someone dies, which is true and dark.
Pretty straightforward.
A lot of death in that book.
Ugh.
All right, movie news. Aside from that Oscar one, which I guess started the movie
Let's
news.
all go to the movies.
Let's do the least interesting ones first. In Aquaman, there will be no Justice League cameos. Probably good.
Yeah.
I feel like DC needs to try and build a base of something. And if you need to abandon some of your movies, maybe have some of them stand on their own, like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, because Wonder Woman really didn't even have a direct...
Batman sent her a note.
Yeah, but he's not in it.
No. Yeah.
That's not a cameo. Batman's handwriting is not a cameo.
Usually I like little nods and whatnot, but with the way their movies have been going, I'm like, yeah, probably just try and build your foundation.
Yes.
Shouldn't you have a foundation after 5 years?
They're not playing the long game like Marvel was.
They're playing a throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Not even everything. They're just like throwing a smattering of things. And
they're like going all in with like a marginal hand and hoping to hit it big.
Samuel L. Jackson and Kobe Smulders have been confirmed for the Spider-Man sequel Far From Home. The only reason this is interesting to me is this would be Sam Jackson's 10th Marvel movie, when his original contract was for 9. So he has upped his contract, or maybe he's just now on a movie-to-movie basis.
Could be a little bit of both. I think he's at the stage in his career where he, the money's nice, but I think he wants to be associated with fun projects. I mean, he seems to be a guy that likes to work, so.
Boy, does he. I mean, if he's not selling you a credit card, he's in a Marvel movie.
I was watching a YouTube video where he answers questions. Like, it was like I can't remember what it was, but it was like what the specific title was, but it was like have you ever seen like the help desk videos?
No, I don't know what you're talking
They're really
about.
cool. You should watch, and people just ask questions. And he tweets back at him and he talks about him. But it's like, I think in his contract, he has like a golfing clause. Like, he can go golf while he's at work.
Good for him.
But he talks about how he got the purple lightsaber and...
Oh, yeah, because he's like, I get a purple one. And George is like, well, there are really only 2 colors. I want a purple one.
Okay, you're Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. And I think he also said, I don't want to die like a bitch, I think was his request.
He didn't, though.
Got shot out a window.
By lightning.
Yeah.
After losing a hand.
Do you want the sad news or the stupid news?
Sad.
I'm not even going to do this. You know what? Maybe this does deserve the stupid news thing, so we'll save it for last.
Okay.
Sad news. Looks like Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth, half the Chris's, might be out for Star Trek 4.
Really?
Over financial negotiations, yeah. Because Star Trek Beyond didn't perform all that well, despite being much better than Into Darkness, the Wrath of Khan remake. So I don't think anyone wanted to come out after that kind of crap movie. So Beyond didn't do that well. So they're slashing the budget for 4, which also means, hey, you got to take a pay cut. And now these two are like bona fide movie stars. Like, we're half the Chris's. You pay or we walk. It doesn't actually matter to us.
We're the Kirk boys. And if your movie's going to be circled around the Kirk boys, you need us.
Look, try and get Evans or Pratt, but these Chris's are walking.
Like Christopher Walken?
Nah, fine, get him too. He's not really one of the Chris's. He's not one of Hollywood's hot Chris's.
What about Chris Cross?
No.
Chris Christopherson?
One of the worst Chris's.
Crystal.
Is that just a drink?
Yes.
Yes, they'll replace him with a bottle of alcohol, I guess.
Oh.
But yeah, that'd be a bummer. Because, I mean, the whole point of that movie, what we were pitched was like, oh, it's going to be a time travel thing where, Kirk and Kirk get to team up. He gets to do a thing with his dad, who's now, like, big-time movie star.
Guess not.
Yeah, it looks like everyone else's contract negotiations went through, but what would you do with that series at that point? I mean, they're already going to be down Anton Yelchin, which is a bummer.
Yes.
But then can you, at this point... Can you really recast a recast?
No, we've got... You might be able to recast Kirk's father, but you can't recast Kirk at this point.
I mean, he's already a recast Kirk.
Yes.
So that, I feel like that's just one step too far. So maybe this movie's dead in the water, or maybe they up their money.
Paramount may have to pony up a little bit.
Because Paramount doesn't really have much going on for them right now.
No, they have the Star Trek stuff.
Maybe Trek just all go back to TV. I don't know.
A Viacom company.
Viacom owns like Nickelodeon and Paramount and
it's all CBS.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll be able to come to an agreement. But yeah, right now that movie is in
trouble,
hot water.
Ooh.
And then I'm gonna put it. We haven't used it for a while. We're doing stupid news.
What is this?
Oh, it's This Week in Stupid News.
This is a new level of lame.
Sony, man.
I love me some stupid news.
I love Sony. Like, don't. Everything they do is stupid and dumb.
Speaking of stupid and dumb, did you see the video of the guy who walked into a Florida gas station with an alligator under his arm and demanded beer?
No.
I'll have to show it to you.
Of course it's in Florida.
Okay, that was my stupid news. He then went back to the same place later and demanded more beer. Not a very smart criminal.
I mean, I guess if someone approached me with an alligator too, I'd be like, this is...
Like,
insurance will cover this fine. This is not worth
the beer.
the effort. Please take your alligator and leave. But we've talked about Sony's individual Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man. Venom, maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it won't be if it's going to be this watered-down PG-13 thing with a whiny-sounding Tom Hardy, but a decent-looking Venom.
Are you going to talk more about the Manhunter?
Craven?
Yeah.
I mean, no real news there. And then there's that Morbius one with Jared Leto. These all sound awful. But then a while ago, I gave Sony some credit. They said our Silver Sable Black Cat movie is indefinitely on hold. And And I said, good. If you don't think you can make a good movie, you put that movie on hold. That is a smart business decision. You know what they did instead?
They put it back on the shelf?
No, made it worse. They split them into 2 movies.
Oh.
2 movies with D-list characters. Silver Sable isn't even D-list. I mean, she's way down the line. No one knows Silver Sable.
Is she on the back side?
Spider-Man fans barely
Is she on
know
the back
Silver
side of
Sable.
the D-list? Like you flip the page over when it's full?
Oh my god, yeah.
Scribble a little name on the back.
What are they doing? Why are they rushing all of these terrible sounding movies? They don't learn.
No, they don't. That's why they lost their movie rights in the first place.
This is they've done this with Spider-Man so many times. Stop it. Stop hurting the brand. You're not going to make money. No one's going to care. No one's going to see these. Venom, people might go out for, but no one's going out for any of these other ones.
Spoiler alert, I bet Venom eats a lot of people, because it's what he says he's doing.
He says it a lot. He says it twice in one trailer. My God, Sony.
Maybe he's got like a little checklist.
Get it together, Sony.
I will do the following to you. I will eat your legs and arms and face.
I mean, they got that Men in Black one that I like the idea of, like, Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson doing. I mean, you know, they got that coming.
What, another Men in Black movie?
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that on the show, even though
No.
it's technically a comic book movie. Yeah, sequel, you know, soft reboot sequel with Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson as the leads. Yeah, and I mean, they worked well in Thor Ragnarok, so hey.
I'm all in.
Yeah. So Sony
As long as I
has
get
that going.
as long as I get a little J&K like passing the torch. Little Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones.
I don't think that's happening unless it's a surprise.
I
mean, Will Smith is trying to stay relevant by posting a lot of Instagram videos, which is weird, but you know.
He's the Fresh Prince, man. He's always going to be relevant.
And I guess that will do it for all the news, except for some other kind of news that involves sweaty men and women. Let's do sports news. Sports reports.
Sports reports.
He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. Bare-chested. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. Oh, and they tackle him at the 40-yard line.
It's time for another Jared Sports Report.
Well, since you mentioned sweaty men, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, a WWE Hall of Famer, he passed away. Another wrestling death.
Those guys all seems to be a lot of them going.
A lot of crazy stuff happening in the 80s. So there was that. I mean, sports entertainment news. Let's see what else exciting is going on. The Patriots won their preseason opener in decent fashion last Thursday night. They're back at it again this week as training camp is in full swing. Tom Brady restructured his contract. It's very incentive laden. So for these bonuses to kick in, he's got to finish in like the top 5 in pass completion percentage, passer rating, touchdowns, yards, things like that. So it's really, he's turned his contract into a performance-based contract, which is really indicating to a lot of people that he feels he can still play at a high level and he's not just there to collect the paycheck. And the Patriots can use that as a good benchmark and say, well, listen, this is the money that you wanted. And so a lot of people talk about, well, he's not the highest paid quarterback in the league. How can he be the best? But he has a contract set up to reward excellence. The Boston Red Sox, speaking of excellent, as of Tuesday evening, before games were played, had a 10-game lead over the New York Yankees in the AL East. I think that's their largest divisional lead of the year. They have the best record in the majors. And the Yankees are over 70 wins here in early to mid-August, and they're still 10 games back of their division. Just gives you an idea how ridiculous the Red Sox are playing right now as we get ready to turn to the last month and a half of the baseball season. The long, grueling grind, 162-game baseball season. And high school sports have started up around the state of Maine, so that's always exciting. That's pretty much it for the sports reports. Do you have any sports
porn stories? No.
Yeah.
I'm out.
You didn't do any research this week like you normally do, as you have want to do?
Just get what I see. It sounded weirder than I meant it.
Yeah, given the given the content matter, yes.
I more meant what I see retweeted on Twitter. But, no, I have nothing.
I'm shocked, actually. Mostly shocked.
Basketball schedules are rolling out.
Yeah, I mean, it's
not that exciting.
Yeah. Oh, also NBC Sports has decided to do away with the NHL rivalry game of the week on Wednesdays because they're not really rivalry games. They're trying to hype them up as being a rivalry, but they're really not. It's just their Wednesday night hockey package. So that is about all I got.
Go enjoy your hockey.
Yeah.
And look up basketball schedules.
And football, baby. Football.
Well, I mean, their schedule's out.
And still watch it, though.
Yeah. I guess that'll do it from there. We're moving on to continue our sometimes series that we do. Sometimes we don't. Kevin Smith-a-thon.
It's Jared's Reading Corner.
Last week, we watched the very first superhero crossover of all time. But that episode, or episodes, were sequelized many years later, written by Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman, who is a radio personality and also a podcaster. But That's probably one of the things he's better known for is being like one of the world's biggest Batman 66 fans. One of the world's craziest collections, like good friends with Adam West when he was alive, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like, and Kevin Smith has kind of said this before, it's like he got the job. He's like, I know a guy who knows this a lot better than I do. So I feel like Kevin Smith is there for mostly like marquee value and maybe trying to hit some plot points. But I feel like Garman probably did most of the scripting because this book is pitch perfect.
Oh, it's super campy. The dialogue is real.
Take it away, Reading Corner.
All right. Well, we have Batman 66 meets the Green Hornet, as remember last time. The live version of it.
Oh, man, and some of the best covers. These Alex Ross covers, man.
Oh, the covers are phenomenal. Love them.
Insane how Alex Ross, I mean, we've probably mentioned him on the show before, just the best cover artist of all time.
It really kind of reads like it comes out of a Batman script, but like from the 66 show. But the basic premise is, well, Dick Grayson, he's got a date. I love this early line. Besides, socializing with the fairest sex is an important part of any young man's upbringing. Golly, thanks, Bruce.
Oh my God, this book is so good.
Immediately, I was not thinking. I didn't have my thinking cap on. I was reading, and I saw that this train that Bruce is riding with these rare fossils, which have been rumored to be getting ready to be stolen, comes to a screeching stop based on something on the tracks. I was like, oh God, is it Paste Pot Pete?
He's everywhere.
No, it's not. I wonder if there's any connection between Paste Pot Pete and Colonel Gum. Oh, wait, correction. He's now General Gum.
Yeah.
He had an unfortunate gumming accident, and he's all covered in his own substance now.
But you know what's funny about that? The reason that they had to do that is that the family's estate wouldn't give his likeness. So to have the character, they had to fully obscure his face, which they do with pink paste.
Yeah, pink, whitish paste.
But isn't that neat?
It is kind of cool.
I mean, find a workaround if you can't get the guy's face. I don't even remember who the actor was. Like, he's not like...
very well known.
I'm sure he's known in some circles, but, you're not dealing with like someone huge.
I also like that out of nowhere, Dick Grayson's date is cut short and he has to hang upside down from the Batcopter and throw a briefcase at Bruce Wayne saying, here, this is for Batman. I understand he's on the plane, or the train rather.
And the automobile.
And yes, everywhere. John Candy was right next to him, and Steve Martin. So General Gum secures the feet of both the Green Hornet and...
He was also on the train.
Yeah, the Green Hornet sidekick.
Kato. And
Kato.
They kind of argue about who has a cooler costume.
Yes. And they find themselves stuck on top of a train heading towards a tunnel. But what I really liked about this is, how you, at the end of those Batman 66 episodes, you had like the narrator come on. What's going to happen? You have that.
Yeah, that was William Dozier. He was the creator of that show. He was the guy who did those voices.
I love that they also has the Prince of Paste doomed the dynamic duo? Will the master of mucilage squash the Green Hornet and Kato like bugs? And then the one thing it does kind of miss a little bit is like the splash. I would have liked to see like a splash of like the bat symbol. Even like a small, even a small panel of it, like not, because if you did it every full page, you'd kind of lose it. But I think that'd be a fun way to do it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But, they all escape their death trap because that's what you do in a Batman cliffhanger.
But they do it on multiple occasions. And then...
you got to end an issue with a cliffhanger.
Yes. So
especially
anyway...
a Batman 66 issue.
We learned that Colonel Gum is all about these fossils because they're nature's original stamps.
I think that's so stupid, but so amazing at the same time.
It's perfectly involved.
It's dumb, corny logic, but I'll buy it.
Yeah, it's Batman 66 logic. And then out of nowhere, we get the Joker. And I like the Joker's art because it does look like Cesar Romero.
Right down to they have that he wouldn't shave that mustache.
Oh, yeah, they've drawn the mustache in. Yeah.
The whole time.
So now you add in a barefoot Batman and Robin who were gassed by the Green Hornet and Kato. And you get the whole...
Just call him the Green Whore.
The Green Hornet.
You didn't enunciate enough.
The Green Hornet.
The Green Whore.
And Kato.
My nickname for the Hulk.
Yes. So we get the Green Hornet and Batman fighting it out, and they have to stop fighting because General Gum has gummed the mouths of Kato and Robin shut. So all of a sudden, you kind of get your two teams, your two kind of big fight lines. You got Batman versus Green Hornet and Kato versus Robin. And again, you get the transitional piece, which I really like.
I mean, yeah, we don't need to hit it beat for beat.
No. But I mean, long story short, Batman and Green Hornet have to match up because the Green Hornet goes to Commissioner Gordon and the people from whatever city they're from.
Oh, yeah, that's the only kind of part where I was lost in the story because they go over to the Green Hornet show, and I've never seen it, so I'm like, yeah, I'm sure these are characters there.
Again, I love some of the other some of the dialogue, like where Kato's like talks about not making the same mistake twice, and Robin like whispers over to Batman, for a ruffian, he's quoting Confucius. I'm confused, Batman. Yes, it is quite unlike these lowlives to be well educated.
I like when they're doing the backwalk up the side of the building, and they're like, it's not as easy as it looks. And from the Clerks animated series, I was just so expecting someone to go like, why are we walking like this? But it didn't happen.
Just the way that they are. So, I mean, it was entertaining. It was campy. You can get a feel, especially if you had if you had watched the original TV series episodes and then kind of followed in. Very interesting concept. I like it. I mean,
in general, this book doesn't try to be any more than what it is. It doesn't try and oversell the 66 stuff. There was a whole Batman 66 run, and I mean, there still are. They're still coming out with different ones. Like right now, it's Batman 66 meets Archie. But a lot of those really try to overextend themselves, and they don't quite get the feeling right of the show, and it's just a little off, and it's too much of, I don't know, impersonating camp being versus actual camp. Like you need to have a certain sensibility, and I'm sure it's a very difficult sensibility because you need to be matching something from the 60s as a fan, or maybe even not a fan, depending on who's writing it.
Yeah.
But this book strikes the perfect balance. And while this isn't the book that's going to light the world on fire, I think for what it is, it's one of the best books we've ever done on the show, because it's exactly what it should be. And they don't go big, they don't go small, and it's tonally perfect. And also gorgeous art by Ty Templeton.
It's very niche. It's a niche book.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I love this book.
I wouldn't go out. I mean, if you're like a traditional Batman fan and you found the 66 stuff to be too campy, or you're looking for like a dark, edgy Batman, this is not the Batman for you. But if you're looking for fun Batman, this is Batman for you.
And even dealing with it from the Kevin Smith angle, this doesn't read like anything he's done.
No.
Like even when we read his other Batman stuff that he his solo books, there's a bunch of references in there like to his own movies and to stories that he likes, and you could still hear his voice in the writing. But in this, you don't. You just hear the show, which is why I think probably Ralph Garman had a big role in the scripting.
Yeah.
But boy, does it work well.
It does. I mean, it doesn't. Some of the Kevin Smith Batman stuff also, like we talked about, I like it. I enjoy it, but it is kind of fanboy. And I've been given the reins to I've been given the keys to the nice car. I'm going to drive it.
Yes, I also remember Alan Moore. Yes, I remember Frank Miller as well. Thank you.
Yes.
Compared to this, I mean, this is nothing but fans working on it, but it plays so well. I love this book.
No, it's right where it needs. It's in a wheelhouse niche for people that enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, if you like Batman 66, boy, it's just a strong book. And what's interesting, because I've looked into this guy's art before, the way that he does his art, at least the way he did the art for this book, is he'll do panels, one panel at a time, like on its own sheet of paper, and he'll draw the most important parts with pencil and ink. Like it might just be two figures, or maybe like two figures interacting with a computer or something like that, and then all the background and all the extra, that all gets scanned in, and then everything else gets done digitally, and they take all those panels and it gets formed into a page.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, every artist does their own different stuff, but yeah, I thought that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
It's not a common one, but I totally get why that would work. Like if you want to work on a bigger surface to get all the detail you want into a panel, and then you can reshape it as such, and yeah, but you still get to, I'm fine with a mixture of work. I always think it's strange when artists go to fully digital. I understand the ease in it, but then you don't get the money on the back end of selling that art.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it's a catch-22. Especially depending on how quickly you're trying to get the book out. And
yeah, and I've heard that conversation before. It's not about necessarily like having speed, but it's about having consistency, so publishers can plan around like how you work. Like how far do we need to start? Do we need to get a fill-in artist for an issue so you have a month to catch up? Like that kind of stuff. But yeah, so yeah, that's this book kind of in a nutshell. I love it. I think it's great. It hits all the silliness, and it doesn't go too big, which is always, I think, the trapping of a lot of adaptations. Like, oh, we're in a comic book now, we don't have to worry about budgets, so we're gonna do a thing you could never see on the show, which is always a bit like, okay, that kind of takes you out because you could never see that. This book doesn't get into that territory.
No, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it doesn't try and one up anything. It would be a perfectly acceptable episode of the show, or 2 episodes of the show.
Yeah, that's even kind of a challenge too within this, which I didn't mention, because obviously pacing in different mediums works in different ways, and this still has to have the pacing of a comic book and all those different act breaks, but it still feels like the show. So you couldn't do like a one-to-one translation of this, but yeah, they captured the essence very well, despite the difference in pacing.
In a hour-long TV show, you've got 3 to 5 natural breaks in the story that have to happen, obviously, for commercials, etc.
But yeah, those are my thoughts. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorites.
Well, there you go.
I guess from there, it's time for letters to the editors.
Now for my favorite part of the show. What's that say? Talk to the audience. Oh, God, this is always dead.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
You know, I was tempted to do this week, but I didn't because I already kind of talked about it.
What?
It's like, so how is the new run of Batman selling compared to like 10 issues ago? Like, well, but I already talked about that.
Oh, as far as...
Yeah, it also wasn't like an attempted question for the show.
No.
But I was like, should I just do that? I'm like, no, we'll do a real
question. That's the cheap way out.
Only so many famous people ask us questions, except for that time that I contacted a bunch of famous people for questions.
That didn't really work out, did it?
No, yeah, it did. For the 100th with Jim Lawson when I contacted
we got yeah. I thought you meant just for us.
No.
They were asking Jim questions, not us.
I thought it was funny.
It was.
Through any medium, but I guess probably, whatever, do what you want. What weird crossover would you like to see? I think they probably meant comic books. But I want to get weird.
Yeah.
I'm going, let's take off the restrictions too, like living, dead.
What weird crossover would I like to see?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have one.
Okay.
I don't know why I didn't think of this before.
All right. It's not like you've had the letter in your possession for some time to give it some thought.
I don't always think of it all ahead of time. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants.
That's perfectly normal.
I think I got a good one.
Okay.
Calvin and Hobbes crosses over with the Green Lantern, a kid whose entire world is built around his imagination, with a character whose his constructs are nothing but like his willpower and his imagination.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, you get Spaceman, go level deeper. Spaceman Spiff meets the Green Lantern, because that's still that whole world of imagination that he's doing. But then you have to have the Green Lantern kind of match that imagination, but in different ways. So you're not going to get like crazy, like weird aliens and dinosaurs. And yeah, I think that's my end. I think that's a fun one.
What about Winnie the Pooh?
Okay.
And The Walking Dead?
Ooh, that's sad.
Oh, bother.
Eeyore's the first to go. Or Eeyore's the last.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
All my friends are dead.
I can't even be a zombie. Oh, well.
They bit off my tail, and it didn't.
I was trying to think of like, or you could do like Winnie the Pooh and Craven the Manhunter, and he's like trying to knock down the animals of the 100-acre wood.
Sad. Craven the Hunter.
Yeah, Craven the Hunter.
Hunting, like, the first one to go is Rue.
Yeah, Tigger.
Oh, and he has to change because he's usually wearing like a lion pelt as a vest, so he switches out the lion pelt with Tigger.
For Tigger's pelt, there you go.
Oh, also sad. I want to think of another fun one.
Oh, a fun one?
The Punisher crosses over with Sesame Street.
Today, kids, we're going to count 8 bullets in my gut.
How many bullets in this Beretta?
Oh, jeez.
Let's find out.
I'm trying to think what would be another good crossover. What about Garfield and Little Orphan Annie? Yeah, Garfield, who's always eating all the time, and then
so you have a sad kid singing and a fat cat just thinking to himself.
Yeah.
I don't really remember much of Garfield.
Garfield was good.
To be honest, I haven't looked at the daily, despite me just saying like Calvin and Hobbes, but I haven't seen like newspaper comic strips in forever.
What about the Peanuts crossover with Spider-Man and Charlie Brown works for J. Jonah Jameson?
That book I love that strip. And I'm sure I've read, a small fraction of it considering how long it went on. But I think about that first strip, like, I don't know why, it's just always in my brain. Like, I think about it maybe once a week, which is the 3 panels. Do you know the strip?
Yeah.
The very first one. I think 2 kids sitting on the sidewalk. I don't even think they have names or anything, but Charlie Brown walks by. There goes good old Charlie Brown. My, how I hate him.
Yeah, just
like, yeah, that's right. Children are mean-spirited creatures.
Straight up.
I don't know why. I just always think about that strip and just how funny and harsh and like out there it is. I think that was like in 1950. They were going. I mean, that's the equivalent of the hard R of comic strips in the 50s.
What about like Family Circus crosses with Deadpool? You have this wholesome all-American family and then Deadpool.
Is Family Circus still around?
I think it is.
Why?
I don't know.
Who cares?
Can you imagine Deadpool and Family Circus?
I mean, it'd be a really slow story. 1 panel a day.
Yeah, but just Deadpool in the background messing things up for the family.
Did you ever like Family Circus?
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
It wasn't a comic. It was like it was more of a cheer you up kind of thing.
Billy stole some chocolates and he's sad. I don't know. I don't know Family Circus. I don't even know if Billy's one of them.
No.
I just made a name up. Yeah. Let's
What
not
about-
look further into this.
What about, a crossover like Wheel of Fortune with Jeopardy? They did that, actually. They did a crossover. The Alex Trebek and Vanna White were on... no.
In that game show-averse that exists
Alex
on the Game Show
Alex
Network?
Trebek hosted Wheel of Fortune with Vanna, Alex, and I can't remember if there was or Vanna and Pat Sajak. I can't remember if there was a third person that they had. And then Pat Sajak actually hosted an episode of Jeopardy. It was an April Fool's crossover.
Ah. Sometimes I've thought about doing an April Fool's episode for us, and I'm like, that shtick would get old so fast.
Every week is April Fool's for us.
Does anyone want to hear like dumb opposite jokes for an hour? Probably not. I don't think I want to do it.
I feel like it's
I'd commit to it for 2 minutes and then give up like I hate this and it's stupid.
anyone who listens to this show habitually is opening themselves up for disappointment and general tomfoolery every week.
I don't think I'm going to top that Calvin and Hobbes Green Lantern one, so that's where I'm landing.
There you, I'm gonna go back to Family Circus and Deadpool.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for this week. Things we say at the end.
Yeah, well, if you like the show, or if you don't like the show and wish it were better, you can go to patreon.com. $1 a month gets you this show a day early. It gets you the Buffy back issue bin a whole week early. And for a little more cheddar, you get some really cool stuff. Like you can be the Duke of the podcast. And you also get a exclusive audio from Zach on Top Comics of the Week. And
well, that's not audio. That's written.
oh, it's written?
It's a blog post.
Oh, you get a cut and paste post by Zach.
I do it myself. I do it at the store, and I do it when I've actually read everything. Like I didn't get to. I like to try and get them out on Tuesdays, but I didn't get to read everything today. So
Oh, good for you.
I have to do it tomorrow when I've actually read stuff and can have an opinion of what was the best. I think I already know what number 1 is, but yeah, we'll see what the rest brings. I probably know a couple of them already. Tried to knock out some of the biggies.
Yeah.
Whatever. It'll be out there. And you're on Twitter.
At Junior Rich, 30% off everything in the store except for new releases this week at 210 Water Street in Hollowell.
And $1 books are a quarter. Now you got me saying it backwards. Yeah.
Pretty much $4 books for $1.
Yeah, it's not bad. Still have to pay taxes. Deal with it.
Ka-ching.
I can't affect that.
No, you can't.
We'll be back next week for more stuff, as we are every week with stuff. Don't you love stuff?
The Man Without Fear.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine. Just spoil it. Yeah, we're doing some Daredevil next week.
You can just say The Man Without Fear, and they got to put 2 and 2 together.
I got there. Figured they did too.
I don't have any fear. I come over to your house, which is falling into the earth.
Yeah.
It's like Swamp Castle.
Oh my god. So many issues. All right, we'll be back. Bye.